Have you ever felt like your life is stuck in a place where nothing makes sense? Like you're walking through a storm that just won't end, confused, exhausted, and wondering if God even sees what you're going through? You've tried, you've pushed, you've prayed, but the doors didn't open, the timing felt wrong, the answers didn't come, and now deep down you're starting to question everything. You're asking, why is this happening to me? Why now? Or why can't I just catch a break? If that's where you are right now, I want you to hear this loud and clear. This storm is not the end. There is a reason for your pain. There is a purpose in your struggle. This is not chaos, it's construction. God is building something in you that you can't yet see. But before we go further, I want to tell you something important. If you stay with me until the end, something inside you will shift. You will feel stronger. You will understand that the silence is not abandonment. And you will remember the power of faith, even when nothing around you makes sense. Because the truth is, most people give up in the middle of the process. They quit when it hurts. They walk away when things don't move fast enough. But the ones who learn to trust the process, the ones who decide to believe even when it's dark, those are the ones who grow. Those are the ones who rise. You see, when life breaks you, it's not trying to destroy you, it's trying to wake you up. It's shaking loose all the things you thought were holding you together, so that you can realize what's actually holding you back. And in that moment of breaking, when everything feels uncertain, when you're standing in the middle of your storm, that's where God begins his deepest work, because you can't see clearly in the fog of your own control. You can't hear truth when your mind is too loud. So sometimes he allows the wind to blow. Sometimes he lets things fall apart. Not to hurt you, but to show you what can't be shaken. Right now, you might be fighting battles that no one knows about. Smiling on the outside, but silently asking, where is God? Wondering if he hears you, if he cares. But let me tell you something most people forget. God does his greatest work in silence. When the world is quiet, when your plans fall through, when your strength runs out, that's when his strength steps in. This is not the end of your story. It's just the chapter where the main character learns to trust again, to let go, to stop trying to control every detail, and start walking by faith. Psychologists say that the human brain craves certainty. We feel safe when we know what's next. But faith is the opposite of certainty. Faith is choosing to move forward without a map. Faith is choosing to believe even when your emotions are screaming at you to quit. And that kind of faith, it changes people. It builds resilience. It rewires the brain to stay calm in chaos. It teaches your heart to rest even when your life is messy. That's not weakness. That's spiritual power. So if you're tired, if you're ready to give up, if you feel like you've lost control of everything, maybe that's exactly where you're meant to be. Maybe losing control is the start of learning to trust the one who's had it all along, because you were never supposed to carry it all. You were never supposed to figure everything out on your own. You were never created to walk through the fire without him. And the truth is, God doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't overlook people. He doesn't forget the ones who cry out to him in silence. Even when it feels like nothing's changing, he's working. Even when it feels like everything's falling apart, he's building. Your storm isn't a punishment. It's a process. And what comes out on the other side will be stronger, clearer, braver, and more alive than you've ever been. So don't quit now. Don't walk away. Don't let the silence convince you that God has abandoned you, because he hasn't. He's just not finished yet. What if the pain you're going through right now isn't a curse, but a calling? What if this delay, this heartbreak, this confusion was never meant to break you, but to build you? Most people see pain as punishment. They think if life is hard, they must have done something wrong. But the truth is, growth is never easy. Transformation is never comfortable. And sometimes the most painful seasons are the ones that shape you into the person you were born to be. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. There's something inside you that only pressure can reveal. Strength doesn't show up when things are easy. It shows up when you're pushed to your limits, when the path makes no sense, but you keep walking anyway. That's when your character is formed. That's when your faith is tested. That's when your future is molded. God isn't ignoring you. He's investing in you. Think about it. If something is valuable, it takes time. Gold is refined through fire. Diamonds are formed under pressure. The most powerful things in life are developed in hidden places. And you right now are being developed in the dark. Not because you're forgotten, but because you're deeply loved. You may not understand it yet. You may not feel ready, but this pain is not empty. It's carving out space inside you for something greater, something stronger, something eternal. This isn't the end of your story. It's the stretch before the breakthrough, the moment before the miracle, the quiet before the calling becomes clear. So don't let the pain lie to you. Don't let the delay convince you to give up. Something powerful is happening inside you, even if you can't see it yet. Keep going. Keep trusting. You are not being punished. You are being prepared for something greater than you can imagine. You only see a small part of the story, but God sees it all. Right now, your vision is limited. You see the pain. You see the delay. You see the things that didn't work out. But what you don't see is what's happening behind the scenes. You don't see how one closed door is protecting you from what would have destroyed you. You don't see how that no is clearing space for the right yes. You're focused on the chapter you're in, but God is holding the whole book. Human psychology tells us we crave certainty. We want answers, timelines, and outcomes. But the truth is, most of life doesn't give that. And that's where faith begins. Faith isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting the author, even when the plot feels confusing. You weren't meant to understand everything. You were meant to walk with the one who does. And he sees the full picture. He sees where you've been, where you are, and where you're going. He knows how every broken piece will be part of your breakthrough. He knows how the delay will make you stronger. He knows how the pain will shape your purpose. So while you're trying to make sense of the now, he's already preparing your next. You're not late. You're not forgotten. You're not behind. You are exactly where you need to be because he never makes mistakes with timing. When you feel overwhelmed, remember this. You're not the one holding it all together. You're not the one who has to fix everything. You are simply asked to trust, to believe, to walk by faith, not by sight. Because the one who holds the stars in place is also holding your future. And he hasn't let go. Waiting is one of the hardest things you'll ever do, especially when you're doing everything right and still not seeing results. You pray, you try, you stay faithful, but the breakthrough doesn't come. That's when doubt starts whispering, telling you maybe it's not meant to happen. Maybe you missed your chance. Maybe God forgot. But waiting isn't wasting. Just because it feels slow doesn't mean it's stuck. The delay isn't a sign of denial, it's a season of development. And while you're wondering when things will change, God is wondering when you'll trust. Because waiting reveals what's really inside us. It shows whether we believe in the outcome or in the one who controls it. There's something sacred about the waiting season. It's where strength is born. It's where faith is stretched. It's where your roots grow deeper than ever before. You may not see anything happening on the surface, but below, in the silence, something powerful is being formed. Human nature wants results. We want control. We want to move. But growth doesn't come in motion. It comes in stillness. And sometimes God holds you in place because he's building a foundation that won't crack when the blessing comes. He's teaching you to depend on him, not the outcome, on his voice, not your emotions. You're not stuck. You're being strengthened. This season of waiting is not punishment, it's positioning. He's lining up the right people, the right opportunity, the right moment. And when the time is right, nothing will be able to stop what he has planned for you. So don't rush the process. Don't let frustration steal your faith. The waiting may feel long, but it's not empty. Every moment is preparing you for something greater. Hold on, stay grounded, trust the timing, because when it's God's time, everything changes. The more you try to control everything, the more exhausted you become. The more you force outcomes, the more anxious you feel, because control is an illusion. And the tighter you hold on, the more life slips through your fingers. There's a reason you feel drained. It's not because you're weak. It's because you're carrying things you were never meant to carry. You were never meant to fix everything, solve every problem, or make every piece fit. That pressure you feel, that constant tension in your chest, is your soul's way of saying, let go. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting that you don't have to do this alone. It means surrendering your plan and opening your heart to something greater. It means stepping back so that God can step in. Sometimes you don't need more effort, you need more faith. Sometimes the most powerful move is not pushing harder but releasing control. Because when you let go, you give God room to move. When you surrender, you make space for peace. Psychology shows us that trying to control the uncontrollable only increases stress, fear, and burnout. But surrender brings relief. It softens your mind. It calms your heart. It teaches you to live from a place of trust, not fear. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't need to know how it will work out. You just need to know who holds your future. God isn't asking you to carry it all. He's asking you to hand it over. The fears, the timelines, the expectations, lay them down. You'll find rest. Not when you finally have control, but when you finally release it. And in that surrender, you'll find strength. Not the kind that burns you out, but the kind that holds you steady when everything else is shaking. This is the freedom you've been searching for. Let go. Trust Him. He's never let you down, and He won't start now. There will be days when your faith feels small, when everything in you wants to give up, when your emotions scream louder than your hope. And in those moments, you might wonder if you've lost your strength, if you've failed, if you're falling behind. But the truth is, faith isn't a feeling, it's a choice. You don't have to feel strong to be strong. You don't have to feel confident to keep moving forward. Faith is when you stand on what you know, even when what you feel tells you the opposite. It's when you choose to believe, not because everything looks good, but because deep down you trust the one who's still in control. That choice, that daily, sometimes hourly decision to keep going is what separates those who quit from those who rise. And rising doesn't always look like victory. Sometimes rising is simply getting out of bed when your heart is heavy. Sometimes it's praying one more time even when you feel unheard. Sometimes it's choosing peace over panic, stillness over striving. Real strength isn't loud. It's quiet. It shows up in the hidden places, in the silent battles, in the decisions no one sees. It's when you whisper, "I won't quit," even when everything inside you is tired. You won't always feel God close. You won't always feel inspired. But faith was never built on feelings. It was built on truth, on promise, on knowing that even when you can't trace His hand, you can trust His heart. Psychologists say emotions are temporary. They rise and fall like waves, but the mind, when trained, can hold steady. And that's what faith does. It anchors your soul when the storm won't stop. It gives you something solid to stand on when everything else shifts. So don't wait to feel brave. Choose it. Don't wait for peace to appear. Create it by trusting. This is how you walk through fire and come out refined. This is how you keep going when others stop. Faith isn't always loud, but it's always powerful. Just because you feel alone doesn't mean you are. Just because it's quiet doesn't mean nothing is happening. Silence is not the absence of God. It's the space where He works the deepest. You might not hear Him right now. You might not see the evidence, but He's there, guiding you, lifting you, leading you through every step you can't yet understand. When the world feels loud with doubt and fear, and your prayers feel like they're hitting a wall, that's when it's easy to believe the lie that you've been forgotten. But your worth was never measured by how fast things happen or how loud the answers come. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You are being led, even in the stillness. This season may feel like a desert, but it's not a dead end. It's a preparation ground. Every step you take, even when you don't feel it, is shaping your future. Even when you can't sense movement, growth is happening under the surface. You're not wandering, you're walking by faith. Psychology teaches us that uncertainty triggers fear, but spiritual truth reminds us that uncertainty is where faith breathes. It's where real trust begins. It's where the soul learns to rest. Not because the answers are clear, but because the heart is anchored. You don't need a sign to know God is near. His presence isn't proven by a feeling, it's confirmed by a promise. And His promise is this: He will never leave you. Not in the silence, not in the struggle, not in the shadows. Even when you feel far away, He's closer than your next breath. So walk like you're being led, because you are. Don't measure progress by what you see. Measure it by what you choose to believe in the dark. You're not lost. You're not off track. You are exactly where you need to be for what's coming next. Keep walking. Keep trusting. The silence is sacred. If it's taking longer than you expected, it's because what's coming is bigger than you imagined. The delay isn't working against you, it's working for you. You may not see it now, but one day you'll look back and understand why the wait was necessary. You prayed for strength and He gave you struggle. You asked for growth and He gave you time. You wanted purpose and He gave you preparation. That's not a delay, that's divine timing. That's a master plan unfolding slowly on purpose for your good. We live in a world that rewards speed, fast results, quick answers, instant gratification. But God doesn't rush what He's building. He takes His time with what He values. And that includes you. You are not on hold, you are on track for something that needs time to become real, to become right, to become lasting. It's easy to think you're behind, that you've missed your moment. But you're not behind, you're being positioned. And the longer it takes, the more prepared you'll be when it arrives. Sometimes God delays the blessing so that your character can catch up to it, so that when it comes, you're strong enough to carry it. Human psychology proves that we grow stronger in resistance. That delayed gratification builds endurance, discipline, and deeper joy. You're not just waiting for something, you're becoming someone wiser, someone stronger, someone who doesn't break under pressure but rises through it. What you're facing isn't meant to discourage you, it's meant to develop you, to teach you that timing isn't always about convenience, but about calling. It's not about what's easy, it's about what lasts. So instead of asking, why is this taking so long? Try asking, what is this shaping in me? Because when the timing is right, what's meant for you won't just arrive. It will fit perfectly. No forcing, no confusion, just clarity, peace, and purpose. Trust the timing. It's not late. It's right on schedule. Pain has a way of feeling final. It can convince you that your story ends in heartbreak, that your struggle has no purpose, that this is all there will ever be. But pain is not your enemy. It's your teacher. And what feels like the end is often just the beginning of something far greater. You weren't meant to stay broken. You were meant to rise. Every tear, every setback, every disappointment has the power to shape you, not into someone weaker, but into someone wiser. Someone who doesn't just survive pain, but transforms because of it. You're not the same person you were before the storm. And that's the point. Pain changes you, but if you let it, it changes you for the better. Human psychology shows us that adversity, when faced with courage, leads to growth. It builds resilience. It sharpens identity. It gives you a depth that comfort never could. That's why some of the strongest people you'll ever meet are the ones who've walked through the deepest valleys. You don't have to pretend it didn't hurt. You don't have to act like you're okay. But you do have to decide that this pain will not define you, that this chapter won't be the one that breaks you, but the one that breaks something open inside you, something stronger, something fearless, something alive. Don't waste your pain. Don't bury it. Use it. Let it fuel your purpose. Let it wake up your soul. Let it remind you that you were made for more than just surviving. You were made to overcome. This moment you're in, as heavy as it feels, is not where the story ends. It's the ground where something new is being born. And what's coming out of this season will be stronger than the storm that tried to stop you. You're not buried. You're being planted. And in time, you will rise. When you're caught in the middle of struggle, it's easy to forget that you're not meant to carry the weight of the world alone. You may feel invisible, like no one sees your fight, like your efforts go unnoticed. But the truth is, you are not alone. There is a force far greater than you, guiding you even when you can't feel it. Sometimes God's presence feels quiet, almost invisible, because the deepest work happens in silence. It's in those quiet moments that your soul is being shaped. The silence isn't emptiness. It's sacred space where strength is born. You might feel forgotten, but that's a lie your mind tells you to steal your hope. The psychology of the human mind shows that when people feel unseen or unheard, it can trigger feelings of loneliness and despair. But spiritual truth reminds us that true presence doesn't depend on feelings. It depends on promises. The promise that you are never truly alone, that you are always being led. Even when the path is unclear, you are not wandering aimlessly. You are walking by faith, not by sight. And faith doesn't require perfect vision. It requires trust. Trust that what feels like a dead end is actually a turning point. Trust that the silence is not abandonment, but preparation. Every step you take, even the ones you don't understand, is part of a bigger plan. You are being carried through the darkness toward the light. Your story is being written with purpose. The pieces that don't make sense today will come together in a way you never imagined. So when doubt creeps in, when fear whispers lies, remember, you are not forgotten. You are seen. You are loved. And even when you can't hear it, God's hand is on your life, guiding you toward the breakthrough you deserve. Keep walking. Keep trusting. You are exactly where you need to be. If you feel like you've missed your moment, think again. Timing isn't about rushing or forcing things to happen on your schedule. It's about alignment. It's about being ready, not just in your mind, but in your heart and soul for what's coming next. Life often moves slower than we want. That's frustrating. It's tempting to compare your journey to others who seem to be moving faster, achieving more, or living the life you dream of. But comparison steals your peace and blinds you to your own unique path. God's timing is not delayed, it is divine. It's perfectly orchestrated to bring the right people, the right opportunities, and the right blessings into your life at exactly the right moment. What you see as waiting is actually preparation, preparing you to handle the blessing, to walk with it fully, and to honor the journey it took to get there. Psychology teaches us that patience is more than just waiting. Patience is how we behave while we wait. It's the courage to hold on to hope, even when the outcome is uncertain. It's the strength to keep faith alive when nothing seems to be moving. The delays you face are not signs that you're behind schedule. They are reminders that the process is just as important as the prize. You are growing in ways you don't yet see. You are becoming ready for the next step, for the breakthrough that will change everything. So instead of asking, why is this taking so long? Ask, what am I becoming during this time? Because what's coming will be worth every second of the wait. It will be more than you dreamed of, more than you expected, because God's timing is always perfect. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be. The right moment is coming, and when it does, it will be unstoppable. The journey through pain is never easy. It challenges you, shakes your foundation, and forces you to face parts of yourself you might rather avoid. But pain is not the enemy. It is the gateway to transformation. It's the fire that refines you, the pressure that shapes you, and the teacher that reveals your strength. You don't have to pretend it doesn't hurt. You don't have to hide your scars or rush the healing process. Real strength comes from facing your pain head on, acknowledging it, and allowing it to change you. Because what breaks you can also make you. What wounds you can also wake you up. Psychology shows that those who process their pain with courage and honesty become more resilient. They develop emotional strength that no easy season could ever give. They learn to navigate life with a depth and wisdom that only struggle can provide. This moment you're in, as difficult as it feels, is not wasted. It is the soil where your future grows. The pain is not a dead end. It's a turning point. It's the moment where you choose to rise rather than fall, to hope rather than despair, to believe rather than doubt. Your story is not defined by the storm, but by how you respond to it. You can let the pain bury you, or you can let it plant you. When you allow pain to plant you, you prepare yourself for a future that is stronger, brighter, and more purposeful than you ever imagined. So, don't rush the healing. Don't wish the pain away. Let it teach you. Let it shape you. Let it transform you. Because on the other side of this pain is a version of you that is ready to shine with a light that no darkness can ever dim.